She was shot, bleeding, and still holding his twins so tight they couldn't fall. The man who'd been hunting those babies for 3 days found her first, and the last thing he expected was to feel anything except gratitude. But gratitude doesn't make your hands shake. What he felt did. Jin Wook didn't pray. Not since his mother died. Not since he built an empire on silence and controlled violence. Not once in 15 years of running Seoul's most feared syndicate. But at 2 a.m., sprinting through Mapo's industrial backstreets with his twins missing for 72 hours. His lips were moving. His men had tracked the signal to this alley. What he found stopped him cold. A woman. Black. Young. Sitting against a graffiti wall with a bullet wound bleeding through her side. And one baby strapped to each arm. I pressed against her chest like she was a human shield. Still conscious. Barely. Her gold earrings caught the streetlight as she looked up at him. "They're okay," she whispered first. "Not help me, not I'm shot. Just, they're okay." Jin Wook's gun was already drawn. His finger hovered. "Who are you?" His voice came out wrong. Too tight. She coughed, winced, held the babies tighter. "Erica. I found them alone. Someone was coming, so I ran." She exhaled sharply. "I got shot running." Jin Wook stared at this stranger who took a bullet for children she didn't know. Something cracked behind his ribs. Jin Wook holstered his gun. That alone was unprecedented. He crossed to her in 3 strides, crouching down, his eyes scanning the wound. Entry point, left side, clean but deep. She'd lost significant blood, and he could see it darkening the concrete beneath her. Yet she was still upright, still holding his children. "Give them to me." His voice came out softer than he intended. Erica looked at him with eyes that measured everything. "You their father?" "Yes." She studied him another second, like she was deciding whether to believe him, then carefully transferred first one baby, then the other into his arms. The moment they left her chest, her composure cracked, just slightly. Her jaw tightened against the pain she'd been swallowing. Jin Wook handed the twins to his Lieutenant Kang, who appeared behind him. Then he turned back to Erica. "Who shot you?" "3 men. They wanted the babies." She swallowed hard. "I didn't let them take the babies." Something moved through Jin Wook's chest like a tremor through stone. Why? The question came out before he could stop it. "You don't know me, don't know them." Erica looked at him like the question itself was strange. "They're babies," she said simply. What kind of person just walks away? Jin Wook had met presidents, warlords, billionaires. Nobody had ever made him feel small and enormous at the same time. "Can you stand?" he asked. "Honestly?" Her lip curved despite everything. "Probably not." He picked her up without asking. She was too weak to argue, or maybe she just didn't. His twins were safe because of this woman's body. The least he owed her was his arms. If you were Erica, shot, exhausted, holding someone else's babies, would you have held on or let go? Drop your answer below. And if this story already has you hooked, hit subscribe so you never miss what happens next. His penthouse smelled like cedar and control. Everything precise, everything expensive, everything cold. Erica woke on a white bed with an IV in her arm and a woman in scrubs checking her pulse. Not a hospital. Private medical setup. The kind only people with serious money or serious secrets Spawny could afford. She sat up too fast. Regretted it immediately. "Easy." The nurse pressed her back gently. "The bullet is out. You need rest." "Where am I?" "Safe." Safe. The word felt foreign in Erica's mouth. She hadn't been safe since she landed in Seoul. Hadn't been safe most of her life, if she was honest. She thought about her father. Raymond Barnes didn't do safe either. The door opened. Jin Wook walked in wearing different clothes now. Black, clean, composed. Like the alley had never happened. But his eyes moved straight to her wound before they moved to her face. She noticed that. "You didn't take me to a hospital," Erica said. "Hospitals ask questions." "So do I." She held his gaze. Who were those men? Why did they want your children? His jaw tightened. That's not your concern. I took a bullet, it's very much my concern. Silence stretched between them. Jin Wook looked at her like she was a problem he hadn't budgeted for. Something inconvenient and complicated. You'll stay until you're well enough to leave, he said finally. Then I'll compensate you and I don't want your money. He blinked, barely, but she caught it. Good. She wanted him off balance because she was already terrified of how safe his arms had felt in that alley. And Erica Barnes couldn't afford feelings. Not here. Not with him. Especially not with him. 3 days passed. Erica couldn't leave. The wound made sure of that. Jin Wook couldn't make her disappear. His conscience apparently made sure of that. So they existed in the same space like two storms pretending to be weather. What she didn't expect was the twins. SEO and Mia, 8 months old, identical in chaos, had apparently decided Erica was their person. Every time a nurse brought them near her room, they reached, fussed until they were placed in her arms, settled immediately against her chest like she was geography they already knew. Jin Wook stood in the doorway one evening, watching Erica hold both of them, singing something low under her breath. Some old song, something that sounded like home. You have siblings? He asked. Erica glanced up. No, only child. A pause. You? Same. Then we both learned to loneliness early. She said it simply. No self-pity, just fact. Jin Wook crossed the room and sat in the chair beside her bed, the closest he'd voluntarily sat to anyone in years. Their mother, Erica said carefully. She's not gone? The word landed like a door closing. Months ago. I'm sorry. Don't be. She chose to leave. His voice carried no anger, just the particular exhaustion of someone who'd processed grief into acceptance. She didn't want this life. Erica looked down at Seo, who had grabbed her finger with both tiny hands. But they stayed, she said softly. They stayed. Something passed between them in the quiet. Not words, not yet. Just the fragile recognition that two people who'd learned to need nothing were suddenly, dangerously, needing something. It was Kang who made the mistake. He left a file on the kitchen counter. Routine intelligence report. Meant for Jin Wook's eyes only. Erica wasn't snooping. She was simply walking to get water when the name on the front page stopped her breath entirely. Raymond Barnes. Threat assessment. Priority 1. Her father's face stared up from the page. Her father. The man who'd sent her to Seoul. The man whose war with the Korean syndicates had been escalating for 2 years. The man Jin Wook's organization had identified as their single greatest enemy. Erica's hands went cold. She replaced the file exactly as she found it and walked back to her room. Sat on the edge of the bed. Stared at the wall. He doesn't know. Jin Wook had no idea who she was, who her father was. She'd come to Seoul with a different surname on her documents, her mother's name. Barnes was known, her cover wasn't, but covers cracked. And if Jin Wook ever discovered that the woman he'd brought into his home, the woman holding his children, was the daughter of the man trying to destroy him? The door opened. Jin Wook entered with tea. An oddly domestic gesture from a man built like controlled danger. He set it beside her, looked at her face. You're pale. Tired, she said. He watched her a moment longer than necessary. He suspects something, she thought. He suspects nothing, she prayed. Both felt equally terrifying. Erica is carrying a secret that could get her killed. What do you think she should do? Tell Jin Wook the truth or keep it buried? Comment below. And subscribe so you're here when everything explodes. It happened over ramyun at midnight. Erica couldn't sleep. She found the kitchen and started cooking. The simple kind. The kind her mother used to make when Raymond wasn't home, and the house finally exhaled. Jin Wook appeared in the doorway 20 minutes later. Said nothing. Just sat at the counter and waited. She gave him a bowl. He ate it like a man who hadn't tasted something made with care in a very long time. My mother cooked when she was scared, Erica said eventually. Are you scared? Constantly. She smiled without humor. You? Jin Wook set down his chopsticks. I stopped feeling fear so long ago, I'm not sure I remember what it feels like. I think you felt it in that alley, she said quietly. When you found them? He didn't deny it. SEO has your eyes, Erica added. That same look, like they're calculating everything. Something rare crossed his face. Warmth. Real, unguarded warmth. She screamed for 4 hours straight last week, he said. I sat on the floor of her nursery and just talked to her. Told her about my mother, my first business deal. He paused. She stopped crying. She just wanted your voice. Erica looked at him. That's all babies want, to know you're there. Jin Wook looked at her across the counter with an expression she felt in her spine. Who taught you to be this gentle? He asked. Nobody, she said honestly. I taught myself, because nobody taught me. His hand moved across the counter, stopped just before hers, not touching, but close enough that the air between them felt like a held breath. Kang found the discrepancy on a Tuesday. Jin Wook was in his office when his lieutenant placed a single photograph on the desk. Erica, younger, standing beside Raymond Barnes at what looked like a private gathering in London. Her real name is Erica Barnes, Kang said quietly. Raymond's only daughter. She's been in Seoul 3 months, planted. The word landed like a grenade. Jin Wook didn't move for a long time. Then he walked to her room. Opened the door without knocking. Erica looked up from the book she was reading, saw his face, and knew. Jin Wook? Raymond Barnes. His voice was ice and gravel. Your father. The silence was catastrophic. Yes, she said. No point lying now. You came to Seoul for him, to spy on me. I came because he told me to. I didn't know. She stood carefully despite the wound. I didn't know it was you. I didn't know about the twins. I didn't know any of it until I was already... She stopped. Already what? His eyes were terrible, controlled fury. Betrayal layered over something that looked almost like grief. Already in too deep to walk away cleanly. Everything, Jin Wook said slowly, was a lie. Not everything. Her voice broke on it. Not the alley, not the ramyun, not... Get out. Quiet, final, devastating. Jin Wook... I said get out of my house. His voice cracked on the last word. Just barely. Just enough. Erica picked up her bag with shaking hands. She didn't cry until she hit the street. Raymond called that evening. Come home, he said. You've been there long enough. Whatever you learned? I'm not coming home. Erica sat in a Joyuk Podong matcha, nursing cold coffee, watching Seoul move around her like she was invisible again. Excuse me? I said no. Dad. First time in 26 years? The word no had never felt so enormous. Whatever war you're running against Jin Wook, I want no part of it. Silence. Then Raymond's voice dropped to something dangerous. You don't get to opt out, Erica. Watch me. She hung up. Her hands were shaking, but her jaw was set. She pulled out a notebook and wrote one sentence, folded it, gave it to a street vendor she'd befriended near Jin Wook's building, an old man who knew everyone's business and asked about none of it. I took a bullet for your children because it was right. Everything after that was real. I am my father's daughter, but I am not my father. You know the difference. You just have to decide if it matters. Jin Wook received the note at 11 p.m. He read it 3 times. Then he sat beside Seo's crib and stared at the ceiling for a long time. Seo reached up in her sleep, tiny fingers grasping at nothing. He gave her his finger, she held on. She just wanted your voice. That's all babies want, to know you're there. He picked up his phone. She was at Incheon Airport. Not because she had a flight booked, just because it felt like the right place to sit with the decision she hadn't made yet. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Seoul area code, she answered. You took a bullet. Jin Wook's voice, low, unguarded in a way she'd only heard once before, in the alley saying why. For children you didn't know, from a man you had every reason to fear. Erica closed her eyes. Yes. My intelligence tells me you refuse to report back to Raymond. That you cut contact. Your intelligence is good. It's the best. A pause, long enough to hurt. I've spent 15 years trusting no one, Erica. Do you understand what that costs? I know exactly what it costs. She pressed her free hand against her healing wound. I've paid the same price. Another silence. Then, Sio won't stop looking for you. His voice was rough at the edges. Mia cried all of yesterday. The nurse says they're fine. I know they're not fine. Erica laughed despite herself, wiped her face quickly. Jin Wook, come back. Not a command this time. Something raw. Something that sounded like a man dismantling a wall he'd spent years building. Not for me. For them. Just for them. The pause that followed was the most honest thing she'd ever heard from him. No, he said quietly. Not just for them. Erica stood up, picked up her bag. I'm my father's daughter, she said. That doesn't go away. I know who you are. His voice was certain. I'm asking anyway. She walked toward the exit, away from the departure gates, back toward Seoul, back toward two babies who grabbed her like geography, back toward a man learning, slowly, painfully, that control and love could not coexist. I'll be there in 40 minutes, she said. She heard him exhale. Just once. Just completely. Jin Wook chose love over pride. Erica chose herself over her father. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't fighting, it's staying. Which character did you relate to more, Erica or Jin Wook? Tell us in the comments. And if this story moved you, subscribe and share it. Someone out there needs to hear this today.